Ladies, you'll end up shopping for your guy's deodorant, right? So try Degree's Original Cool Rush. You see, last year, Degree changed the formula, and men were mad. One guy even started a petition. So Degree admitted they messed up and brought the Original Cool Rush scent back. It's clean, crisp, and actually smells like someone you want to cuddle. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So toss one in your cart and find out why it's the best-selling men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WNBC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. Merry Christmas. Thank you for starting your Christmas morning with me. As you get ready to unwrap presents, do some last-minute gift arranging, or some last-minute cooking, or just sip your eggnog, let me unwrap a story that's 9 months in the making. This week, we learned that the $1.3 billion Mega Millions jackpot won way back in March has finally been claimed. A single ticket purchased at a ShopRite liquor store in Neptune Township, New Jersey, matched all 6 numbers, making it the largest jackpot ever won in the Garden State and the 5th largest in Mega Millions history. The winner? Well, we may never know. Thanks to a 2020 New Jersey law, they've chosen to remain anonymous. All we know is that they opted for the lump sum cash payout of $537.5 million before taxes. And that ShopRite store, by the way, got a nice $30,000 bonus for selling the ticket, which they generously donated to combat food insecurity. Now, I understand why some people would want to keep a low profile after a win like this. Can you imagine the unsolicited calls from distant relatives and quote-unquote friends you didn't know you had? Not to mention the security risks. Still, I'm not sure how I feel about this anonymity option. While New York doesn't have that, by the way. While I respect the desire for privacy, it raises questions about transparency. When a winner goes public, it's a bit of a safeguard, a way to assure the public that the process is on the level. Without that, could there be room for subterfuge? What's stopping someone from claiming the prize on behalf of someone else, or worse, diverting the winnings altogether? Public disclosure might not be perfect, but it's a layer of accountability. That said, I'll admit there's something charming about the mystery. For months, we speculated about who this person might be. Did they even know they'd won? Were they carefully assembling a team of financial advisors and lawyers, or were they just too stunned to act? Now we know. They were taking their time, and fair enough. When you've just won enough money to buy a small country, a little deliberation is probably wise. So as you enjoy your Christmas day, hopefully someone won the jackpot last night. We, at our family party at my dad's, we all chipped in $5 a person to buy a Mega Millions ticket. I hadn't seen, as of just a few minutes ago, if there was a winner, but who knows? Maybe it's you. The numbers are out. Make sure you check them. As you enjoy your Christmas day, take a moment to ponder this modern riddle. Somewhere out there, a very rich mystery person is celebrating the holidays with $537.5 million in their bank account. And who knows? Maybe this Christmas Eve's Mega Millions drawing, with a jackpot edging closer to $1 billion, will add another chapter to the story of life-changing lottery luck. Happy holidays and good luck to all the dreamers holding on to their tickets today.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WNBC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone, and Merry Christmas. Let's dive into a story that's causing waves in New York City's police department. It's a tale of power, allegations, and the consequences of unchecked overtime abuse. At the center of this controversy is NYPD Lieutenant Quatisha Epps. She's demanding reinstatement after being suspended for claiming that more than 1,600 hours of overtime last year, which earned her a staggering $204,000 on top of her salary. That made her the highest paid member of the NYPD, pulling in over $406,000, a full $118,000 more than the police commissioner at the time. The department suspended Epps on December 18th, just 2 days after she filed for retirement, raising questions about her motives and her timing. Here's where the plot thickens. Epps claims her suspension is unjust, tying it to allegations of sexual abuse and harassment by former Chief of Department Jeffrey Maddrey. According to Epps, Maddrey repeatedly demanded sexual favors in exchange for overtime opportunities. When she refused, she alleges he retaliated by exposing her massive overtime earnings to department executives. Maddrey has since resigned, and the Manhattan DA's office has launched an investigation into these claims. While it's clear that Maddrey's behavior, if proven true, was inappropriate and deeply troubling, there are serious questions about Epps's own actions. She racked up an extraordinary amount of overtime, and her suspension came as the department announced plans to audit her pay. Was this a claim of harassment, or was this claim of harassment a preemptive strike to shield herself from scrutiny? I'll be honest, this situation reeks of opportunism. It's hard not to see Epps's allegation as a convenient shield against accusation of abusing the system. It's worth noting that her suspension came just months before she would have been eligible for full retirement benefits, potentially securing her a tax-free pension of up to $232,000 a year. Coincidence? You decide. This saga raises larger questions about accountability within the NYPD. How does someone claim that much overtime without raising alarms earlier? And how does the department ensure that legitimate claims of abuse aren't overshadowed by individuals looking to exploit the system for personal gain? In my view, the department should fully investigate both Epps's allegations against Maddrey and her own overtime claims. To be continued.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WNBC.
Local Spotlight.
It's Christmas Day, a time for family, joy, and for many of us, football. As we settle in for today's games, one of the league's most iconic players, Aaron Rodgers, is at a crossroads. Recently, on the Pat McAfee show, Rodgers expressed a willingness to take a pay cut and mentor a young quarterback next season. But here's the question. Should he even come back? If you're not a football fan, Rodgers has been playing for the Jets the last 2 years, but last year he didn't really play at all. In my view, the answer is no. Rodgers is a legend, a Super Bowl champion, a four-time MVP, and one of the best to ever play in the position. But Father Time is undefeated, and Rodgers is no longer the quarterback he was even 3 years ago. His Achilles injury last year only made things worse. The Jets, once hopeful for a Super Bowl, are now 4-11 and in total disarray. During his conversation with McAfee, Rodgers reflected on his future, saying this.
I know what it was like to be a first-round pick and to be in the room with a Hall of Famer, and I tried to, to help Jordan as much as possible. And if there's a situation where the new staff came in and wanted me to be there, also wanted to make a pick for the future and pick a quarterback if there was one there they really liked, then yeah, of course.
That world Rodgers is describing might be the best scenario for everyone involved. If he returns, it's hard not to see it as a move driven by ego or a paycheck. Sure, he talks about mentoring a young quarterback, but is that why he really wants to come back? I'm not buying it. Even the Jets deserve better. It's time for them to focus on their future. Investing in a young, dynamic quarterback is their best path forward, not clinging to a fading star. Now, I love a comeback story, and I love to see a star of yesteryear have an opportunity to shine again. So if he does come back, I'll be rooting for him. But he shouldn't. So, Aaron, enjoy Christmas, enjoy the game, but maybe it's time to let the game go. I think there comes a time in every professional's life, whether we're talking radio people, cops, politicians, or athletes, that you have to know when to hang them up. It's clear that it's time, in fact, it's probably a bit past time, for Aaron Rodgers to hang them up. I hope everyone enjoys the games today. I know the Chiefs are going to be playing on Netflix. First ever Christmas Day game on Netflix. A lot of people are upset about that, but I have Netflix, so I'm looking forward to watching the game. Merry Christmas, everyone, and thanks for spending part of your holiday with me. Enjoy the games.
Beam me up.
To be continued.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Yesterday, I was lucky enough to spend the first hour of the Sid and Friends in the Morning show jawboning a bit with our owner, John Katsimatidis, and Curtis Sliwa. Today, I am going to be back at 6:15, short and sweet, just to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And I don't know what they want to talk about in terms of issues, but here's an issue that I think is interesting that has not gotten very much attention. You might have heard about the bill the City Council just passed, Intro 103, which requires the Department of Transportation to notify lawmakers every time a parking spot is repurposed, whether it's for a city bike dock or bike corral or anything else. Council members must now be informed before a single space is touched. The bill has stirred up a lot of debate. Critics argue it's a roadblock to street safety improvements and an unnecessary burden on the DOT. And some say it's clinging to a car culture that New York City should leave behind. But I think this bill is a smart move, and here's why. First, let's address the obvious. Cars still matter in New York City. Yes, we need bike lanes. Yes, we need pedestrian-friendly streets. But let's not pretend cars aren't essential for millions of New Yorkers, including me. Delivery drivers, working parents, tradespeople, even emergency responders rely on vehicles every single day. Acting like we can just shove cars aside and turn the city over to bike advocates and transportation alternative folks is unrealistic and frankly pretty elitist. This bill recognizes that public streets are a shared resource. Parking is part of that equation, and the idea that residents should wake up one day to find their parking spots gone without notice is unfair. It's not about entitlement. It's about transparency and accountability. Critics argue this will slow down progress on street redesigns. Maybe so, but shouldn't we get it right? Rushing through changes without consulting the communities that are affected isn't the way to build trust or lasting solutions. Let's involve everyone in the conversation, not just the loudest voices pushing for fewer cars at all costs. And let's be honest about the trade-offs here. Advocates for bike docks and corrals like to frame them as inherently superior uses of space. Sure, city bike serves a lot of people, but so do cars. Both have their place. Balancing these needs thoughtfully instead of declaring one superior is the only way forward. This isn't about being anti-bike or resisting change. It's about making sure change happens in a way that respects everyone, not just those who think the future of New York City is car-free. Let's remember, a functional city is one where all forms of transportation coexists. To be continued.